Hey, what's up, everybody? BDO44 coming at you with another video. All right, so yeah, NBA stuff. Dallas Mavericks, man, fantastic show in these playoffs thus far. They beat the OKC Thunder in 6, as I predicted. Felt pretty good about that prediction going into it, and coming out of it is exactly what I thought, man. OKC put up a fantastic fight. They had a chance to win the game, only lost by 1, but it wasn't meant to be for them, man. You see Derek Lively playing valiantly in the presence of tragedy. He lost his mom about a month ago. He's playing some fantastic ball. This is his rookie season. The character of the young man, his talent level, fantastic value at 10 last year at the draft. And I think he's going to be a fantastic Maverick for years to come. And he's going to have very early Western Conference Finals experience. I think it's going to work in his favor for many years to come as well. So gotta love that for him. PJ Washington, having played his entire career with the Charlotte Hornets. Many of us know what he went through initially with his baby mama. A lot of that has smoothed out, and he's moved on, has a new family, but that situation was a little crazy to start off. And now he's in a position to play for a chance at the NBA Finals, man. Had an intricate opportunity to be impactful in the series, especially last night, even though he only had like 9 points. He had some key free throws down the stretch to ice the game. Definitely happy to see him in a winning situation for the first time in his career, man. Playing your whole career with the Charlotte Hornets must be miserable. So, Kyrie Irving, man, I mean, what can I say, man? Kyrie is as good as a human being as he is a basketball player. It just is what it is. He's always got his mind on bigger things than riches and basketball, and that's why you like seeing a guy like that succeed. And NBA record 14-0 in closeout basketball games. If it was a closeout game going on, he won the series, period. The only time he doesn't is when he either misses the playoffs or is hurt. But if he's on the floor, you win. That's a hell of a stat. That's a hell of a stat, man. 14-0 in closeout games. So yeah, that's something that needs to be said, man. Winners win, bro. At the end of the day, winners win. I'd love to see him get another ring before he retires. A lot of what has been going on with him is just choosing not to be on the floor for reasons of, I think he's trying to mature over the years. I think he's gotten to a point where he has. And then, of course, the injuries have robbed him a lot as well. And just balancing out the need to keep one's mind on the job while absorbing everything else that's going on in the world. I think it took a little while for him to really be able to do that, to be honest with you. For whatever reason, his personality was that if it's something going on that's affecting him, he can't work. And I just think that was really getting in the way of his professional career in the NBA. And it's good to see him find himself in a space where he's able to just play ball, and you see what the results are when he does. You know what I mean? So he's been a great Maverick so far. And this situation has far exceeded my expectations as it pertains to what they were able to put together with him and Luka Doncic. But once you start making good decisions with your roster, which they have, starting with drafting Derek Lively, and then from there bringing in Gafford and PJ and Derek Jones Jr. I mean, these have been fantastic moves by their GM, man. Fantastic moves by their GM. And, I was listening to someone speak about how fantastic their roster build situation is, and I just realized how quickly and how few moves they need to make to get where they are. They didn't really need to make a lot of moves. They didn't have to mortgage a ton of future or nothing like that. They just made good quality trades. Good quality trades, that's it. A couple good trades, knowing to keep the right stuff, not allowing certain things to be traded away in regards to acquiring all this stuff. It's valuing size, you know what I mean? Good decisions, man. Good decisions. So I got on their case for what led to Derek Lively's drafting, which was them losing a Chicago Bulls game on purpose 2 years ago that would have otherwise put them in a play-in tournament situation. They decided to lose that game on purpose so that they can miss the playoffs and capture the 10th overall pick. And they made good decisions ever since. There ain't been a bad decision really made with the roster ever since. And that's a testament to, where they are right now. And then Luka Doncic, of course, being one of the best players we've ever seen. Continuing to show people he's a winner. This is going to be his second conference finals in his career. And when you're in the Western Conference, that's a lot. That's a whole lot. In the East, people don't give the Celtics as much respect for being there a million times in a row, because they have been there like 6 to 7 times. Talk about Jason Tatum, but you know, I think the Western Conference provides a great deal of more adversity, a great deal more. And, you know, it's just a lot to be said for that. So congratulations to the Dallas Mavericks, man, for getting to the Western Conference Finals for the second time in 3 years. So, who else? Only got like 7 more minutes to talk, but Game 7, of course, we talked about the Knicks in my previous video. It ain't a basketball video, but we talked about the Knicks are down big. I haven't checked the stats of that game, but I think it's probably like halftime right now. The Knicks were last down by like 20. I wasn't sitting around to watch that, man. That's a Game 7, and hopefully the Knicks can come back and make a game out of it. I'd like to see them make it a series, win the series rather. But to be truthful with you guys, without OG Anunoby, I just don't see the Knicks the same team, man, and that is what's wrong with him. OG is not healthy. He's continuing to try to push himself. I think he tried to play in this game, but I think he was removed from the game or something like that. So I don't know, but without OG Anunoby, they don't have a chance, man. There's no chance. So that's really what I see there for the Knicks. We'll check the score, but I doubt they're going to win the game. Pacers will go on to be in the Western Conference Finals, which is a big deal for them. Guy like Tyrese Halliburton, much underrated, very underrated player, but you know, it's after that leg strain, he kind of took the wind out of his sails as it pertains to people talking about him. They started talking about other guards, but he is still one of the most dynamic guards on the planet. And I think him getting to the Eastern Conference Finals, if it does play out that way, will kind of propel him once again to being considered one of the best point guards, if not the best point guard in basketball. So you got to give him some credit. His career is super bright. You talk about Brunson, you talk about all these other guards. His career is as bright, his future is as bright as any of these people. So we'll see if he's able to close out that basketball game. If he is, I'll think of it as him being a great leader there, along with just good trades that the Pacers have made, putting themselves in a position to have Pascal Siakam, you know, moving Buddy Hield on and opening up the door for a guy like Ben Shepherd and a guy like Andrew Nembhard and Naismith to have more minutes, and I think they're a better team for it. Obviously, T.J. McConnell, one of the best not young, but one of the best backup point guards really I've ever seen. Not just in this era right now, any era. He's one of the best. I put him up there with some of the guys that have done it at a high level, man, as role players like Bobby Jackson. He's on that level for me. And he's just, as I said, he was going to be the headache for the New York Knicks. And he's had a fantastic series, no surprise to me. So, you just got to give credit where credit's due to those Pacers as a whole. And Carlisle, a coach who's won an NBA championship with the Dallas Mavericks. Few things shake out a certain way, and he'll have to go up against his old team to try to go for the finals if they win this game tonight. So I don't think they beat the Celtics, which is what frustrates me about them getting to the Eastern Conference Finals, rather. But ultimately, you got to give them their credit because they are, in fact, a fantastic basketball team that has had the best offense really anybody has ever seen. And I know that sounds strange, but it's true. They've damn near broken records to start the season. And it makes our in-season tournament, as a Laker fan, more meaningful when you consider how far the Pacers are going in the playoffs. Beating them holds much more validity than we thought. So that's good in my mind. So, got to give the Pacers their credit. Of course, the Boston Celtics did away with the Cleveland Cavaliers. I'm a little biased because I literally loathe the Celtics as a lifelong Laker fan. I inherited the beef. I take it very seriously. So I ain't really got a whole lot of good to say about them. I think they've had the easiest path imaginable. And one could only be so lucky as to play a bunch of hurt teams all throughout the playoffs just to get to where you're headed. But if the Knicks do lose this game, I do think they'll beat the Pacers, but at least the Pacers will be healthy going into the series because nobody else the Celtics has faced has been anywhere close to healthy. So that's pretty frustrating. And then I look at I double back to the Dallas Mavericks, and I say, wow, they've really had a hard path, man. They had to beat the Clippers on the road. Clippers had home court, if I'm not mistaken, in that series. Don't quote me on that, but I thought the Clippers started the series there. Either way, playing the Clippers is a very serious thing to start the playoffs. You beat them in a 7-game series, if I'm not mistaken. And then you had to go on play OKC, who at times had the number 1 overall seed throughout the course of the Western Conference, also had home court advantage against you, and you beat them in 6. You got to give Dallas credit, man. I mean, at the end of the day, You talk about difficult paths. That's a damn difficult path, man. So I don't know how far they're going to be able to take it, but they're in the Western Conference Finals. They're likely to see the defending champion Denver Nuggets or the Minnesota Timberwolves. And speaking of Dallas and Minnesota and Denver, of course, their game starts up tonight at 5 p.m. Pacific, or is that 5:30? Somewhere in there. Check for yourself. 8 p.m. Eastern, somewhere around there. And I don't like it for myself. I picked the Denver Nuggets to win in 6, so my prediction is already out the window. But I do expect Denver to win this game at home, even though Minnesota took care of them rather easily in the last game. So if that carries over, obviously the Denver Nuggets will lose. But I just don't see Denver, the defending champions, losing a Game 7 at home with all of the experience they have versus a Minnesota team that really doesn't have that type of experience. So that's what I'm looking at. But Minnesota has already won 2 games in Denver. They've already won 2 there. So, and coming off a massive win where the second largest differential for a team that's being closed out to ever win a game in that regard, you got to give credit to the Minnesota Timberwolves getting back on track after dropping 3 straight in this series. So I'm looking forward to that game. I definitely will watch the second half of it after Bible study. Unfortunately, Bible study will start 30 minutes before the game starts, so I'm going to miss some of it in theory. But nevertheless, that's definitely a game I want to watch, and hopefully it's a good one. And hopefully Minnesota wins. I don't hate Denver, and I think Denver has a great shot at beating the Boston Celtics, so that's a caveat for me if they happen to win this series. And they beat Dallas, I think that they have the best chance of beating Boston, so that's probably the bigger picture for a Laker fan, but I still want to see Denver get beaten. And I would love to see them get beaten by the Timberwolves, to be honest with you. So hopefully that happens today, but I didn't predict it, and I'm not going to. I do not find myself inclined to pick against the defending champions in a Game 7 at home. So that's really it, man. I wanted to provide Boston the respect that otherwise getting to the Eastern Conference Finals deserves, but truth be told, I don't think they played anybody, man. I'm not impressed with how they played. I think the Miami Heat were depleted and they lost games to them. The Cleveland Cavaliers were depleted and they lost games to them. I'm just not impressed with the Boston Celtics at all. I don't think they're that great of a team without Porzingis, and Porzingis has not been healthy this playoffs yet. He's expected to come back in the next series if everything is continuing to be what it is. So I'm sure they will need him regardless if it's the Pacers or the Knicks. But I think they are going to the finals, and I hate it. I hate it as a Laker fan, and I hate it as somebody who respects paths. I don't like seeing teams get easy paths. It's trash. You know what I mean? You should not be able to waltz to the playoffs playing a bunch of benches. I'm sorry. And that's independent of them being the Celtics. That's anybody. I don't think that's a real way to go. I think the NBA needs to shake up things in general so that the Eastern Conference has more adversity. Somehow. Because these teams, whether they're healthy or not, they don't even compare to what's going on in the West. So in the West, you're out there fighting tooth and nail to get to the finals. And in the East, you get crap like this. You get garbage like this. So that's really what I have to say, man. Any team in the Western Conference, if they were in the Eastern Conference, they'd be a top 3 seed. Any team, any playoff team, you name them, they'd be a top 3 seed in the East. So that's how I feel about that. But anyway, man, that's pretty much all the time I have to talk. Hope everybody's enjoying their day. It's a fantastic Sunday, great weather in LA, and too bad there's no basketball being played, but at least we still got playoffs to watch before this long summer begins. So that's pretty much what I got to say. My name is BDL44. I thank you all for watching, and I'm out.